Good day, children. So, today we move on to the sixth lesson from the textbook Beehive. The lesson is titled My Childhood. Now, this lesson is an extract from the biography of our very famous President Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. This is from his book Wings of Fire. And this chapter talks about his childhood and about his upbringing, his parents, his siblings. And it also tells us about his friends and all those incidents and things which influenced his childhood. I was born into a middle class Tamil family in the island town of Rameshwaram in the erstwhile Madras state. My father, Jainulabdin, had neither much formal education nor much wealth. Despite these disadvantages, he possessed great innate wisdom and a true generosity of spirit. He had an ideal helpmate in my mother Ashiyamma. I do not recall the exact number of people she fed every day, but I am quite certain that far more outsiders ate with us than all the members of our own family put together. So, here we can see that Dr. Kalam says how he was born into a middle class Tamil family who belonged to the island town of Rameshwaram, which is in the state of Tamil Nadu. And today, as we know it, it's Tamil Nadu, but in his time, it was known as the Madras state. And his father was Jainulabdin, and he says that his father was not very rich, nor did he have much wealth, and he was not highly educated also. But even despite all these disadvantages, he had some great qualities in him. Okay, innate wisdom means inborn wisdom. Okay, and so he had some great qualities, and he was naturally very wise and he was generous too. So, generosity of spirit means he had his soul sought to help others who were needy. So he always helped people who were needy. And his mother's name was Ashiyamma, and she used to help his father. And she was a great help and support to his father. Now he says that his mother was also generous and kind-hearted, and she used to feed a lot of people. So there were a greater number of people from outside than the total number of members in their family to whom his mother always provided food. I was one of many children, a short boy with rather undistinguished looks, born to tall and handsome parents. We lived in our ancestral house, which was built in the middle of the 19th century. It was a fairly large Pakka house made of limestone and brick on the Mosque Street in Rameshwaram. My austere father used to avoid all inessential comforts and luxuries. However, all necessities were provided for in terms of food, medicine, or clothes. In fact, I would say mine was a very secure childhood, both materially and emotionally. So he says that he had many siblings, and he describes himself as the one which was shorter in height and had the common looks. He did not have any exceptional looks. On the contrary, his parents were very tall, and his father was very handsome, and they were good looking, and he did not inherit all these physical qualities of his parents. And his ancestral house was very old. It was built in the 19th century, and it was a Pakka house. Now, Pakka house is a house which is made of bricks, cement, and limestone, and it was located on the Mosque Street in Rameshwaram. And his austere father means simple, strict, and severe. Okay, so his father was very simple, but he was very strict also. He always wanted to live his life in a simple way, and he used to teach his children also to not waste money on unnecessary things. So Dr. Kalam says that his father used to avoid any sort of inessential comforts and luxuries. He provided them all necessary things like food, clothes, and medicines. Therefore, Kalam says that his parents had always fulfilled his needs, whether it was any material things, that is anything that is like clothes, food, or medicine, or even emotionally, that is love and affection. Everything was provided to him. So this also shows us that Dr. Kalam's quality of gratitude. He's grateful to his parents for giving him for having fulfilled all his requirements, and he's thankful to his parents for whatever they did for him, both materially and emotionally. The Second World War broke out in 1939 when I was 8 years old. For reasons I have never been able to understand, a sudden demand for tamarind seeds erupted in the market. I used to collect the seeds and sell them to a provision shop on Mosque Street. A day's collection would fetch me the princely sum of 1 anna. My brother-in-law Jalaluddin would tell me stories about the war, which I would later attempt to trace in the headlines in Dinamani. So, it was in 1939 when the Second World War broke out, and we can also see that he says that he is 8 years old at that time, and he cannot, for reasons he don't know, there was a sudden demand for tamarind seeds in the market. So Dr. Kalam used to collect and sell these tamarind seeds to a provision shop which was located on Mosque Street, and he used to earn a very princely sum, means a generous amount of 1 anna. Here it is ironic here. It was a mere sum of 1 anna. Okay. Generous amount or princely sum is ironically used here, because what he meant was it was a mere sum of 1 anna for collecting and giving tamarind seeds to the provision shop. Now, anna is like just like your rupee. 1 anna is like around 6 paise. Okay, so he used to earn 1 anna for collecting tamarind seeds and giving, and he says it is, but that amount is very great and valuable to him. Okay, even though it was such a very meager amount at that time. So for him, that 1 anna meant a lot. His brother-in-law Jalaluddin used to tell him stories about these ongoing world war, and he also used to he tried reading out the newspaper Dinamani. Dinamani is the name of a newspaper, just like you have Malayalam Manorama. In Tamil Nadu, you have this newspaper called Dinamani. So Dr. Kalam used to read the newspaper Dinamani, and he used to look for news of same stories. Our area, being isolated, was completely unaffected by the war. But soon India was forced to join the Allied forces, and something like a state of emergency was declared. The first casualty came in the form of the suspension of the train halt at Rameshwaram station. The newspapers now had to be bundled and thrown out from the moving train on the Rameshwaram road between Rameshwaram and Dhanushkodi. That forced my cousin Shamsuddin, who distributed newspapers in Rameshwaram, to look for a helping hand to catch the bundles, and as if naturally, I filled the slot. Shamsuddin helped me earn my first wages. Half a century later, I can still feel the surge of pride in earning my own money for the first time. So look at here. Here we can see how Kalam is proud of earning money from a very early age. And he says how Rameshwaram, which was a small island town far away from the land, it was not much affected by the World War in the beginning. But after some time, what happened was India had to join the war, and India had to combine with the Allied forces. Allied forces are armies of UK, USA and Russia during Second World War. So during that time, a state of emergency was declared in the country. Now, during emergency, what happens is the president's rule is implemented in the country. So it's like a curfew in the country. A lot of privileges that you have is withdrawn. So you can say state of emergency is what even we went through. Maybe not, the severity is less, but still the lockdown that we faced can be also seen as a state of emergency, because we were being trying to be away from or save ourselves from the pandemic. So something similar. So, the first impact of World War II on people of Rameshwaram was the cancellation of the train which stopped at the Rameshwaram station. And so, what happened was earlier the train which came from India used to stop at Rameshwaram station and then it used to move to Dhanushkodi. But now this halt was cancelled and the train which went from India to Dhanushkodi without stopping at Rameshwaram. And because of this, the newspaper bundle which used to come for Rameshwaram was thrown out of the moving train. Okay, as it reached Rameshwaram, halt is stop. Okay, so this forced his cousin Shamsuddin, who used to distribute newspapers in Rameshwaram. His cousin was in charge of distributing newspapers in Rameshwaram. So once the train stopped, the train's stop was cancelled and the newspaper bundle was thrown out of moving train. His cousin Shamsuddin wanted someone to help him. Now Dr. Kalam helped Shamsuddin by catching the bundle and also distributing the newspapers. In return, Shamsuddin used to pay him a salary, which was Kalam's first earning. So we have all read about how Kalam, even in his speeches, he has mentioned about how he has worked as a newspaper boy. So this is an incident from that. And he says that, this incident happened like around 50 years ago. But even now, that is when he wrote this book, even then he could feel the satisfaction and pride of earning his own money, at a very early age. He says that, whenever someone earns his own money with his hard work, he feels it the same way as he did maybe years back. Okay. So he was quite proud of his achievement. Every child is born with some inherited characteristics into a specific socio-economic and emotional environment and trained in certain ways by figures of authority. I inherited honesty and self-discipline from my father. From my mother, I inherited faith in goodness and deep kindness, and so did my 3 brothers and sister. I had 3 close friends in my childhood, Ramananda Shastri, Aravindan and Shiva Prakashan. All these boys were from orthodox Hindu Brahmin families. As children, none of us ever felt any difference among ourselves because of our religious differences and upbringing. So he says that, every child, who is born, they always inherited certain characteristics from their parents. So for a child, always the figure of authority is his or her parents, and the next figure of authority can be his or her teacher. Okay, because a person who has an authority over a child is usually the parents and the teachers. So Kalam says that, whenever a child is born, he has some qualities which he acquires from the elders in the family. Now this also depends upon the social status of the family and the environment at the home. So from his father, Dr. Kalam inherited honesty and self-discipline, and from his mother he inherited faith in goodness and deep kindness. His siblings too inherited the same qualities from their parents. Now Dr. Kalam says he had 3 best friends during his childhood. Now their names were Ramananda Shastri, Aravindan and Shiva Prakashan. Now they all belonged to orthodox Hindu Brahmin families, which means that orthodox means strict Hindu Brahmin families, and they were all ardent followers of their religion. Okay, and as children, even though Dr. Kalam was from a Muslim family, he says that during his childhood, all the children were so close to each other that they never felt that they belonged to different religions. Okay, so religion was never a barrier in their friendship. So, he said religion does not matter when it comes to friendship. In fact, Ramananda Shastri was the son of Pakshi Lakshmana Shastri, the high priest of the Rameshwaram temple. Later, he took over the priesthood of the Rameshwaram temple from his father. Aravindan went into the business of arranging transport for visiting pilgrims, and Shiva Prakashan became a catering contractor for the Southern Railways. So he says that, in Rameshwaram, Rameshwaram is known for the very famous Rameshwaram temple. So Dr. Kalam's best friend Ramananda Shastri was the son of Pakshi Lakshmana Shastri, who was the priest, the high priest of Rameshwaram temple. And later on, Ramananda Shastri took over the priesthood of the temple from his father. Aravindan went into the business of arranging transportation for pilgrims to and from Rameshwaram temple, and Shiva Prakashan became a catering contractor for the Southern Railways. So he was in charge of the catering inside in the Southern Railways. Okay. During the annual Sri Sitarama Kalyanam ceremony, our family used to arrange boats with a special platform for carrying idols of the Lord from the temple to the marriage site situated in the middle of the pond called Ramatirtha, which was near our house. Events from the Ramayana and from the life of the prophet were the bedtime stories my mother and grandmother would tell the children in our family. So Dr. Kalam says, whenever there was the Sri Sitarama Kalyanam ceremony, which was a ceremony which took place in Rameshwaram. So during this ceremony, it was Kalam's family who was also part of the ceremony, because they used to arrange the boats to carry the idols. Okay, they used to make a special platform on the boats on which the statues of Rama and Sita were placed, and they were transported from the temple to the marriage site. Now the marriage site was in the middle of a pond named Ramatirtha. So there is a pond in Rameshwar named Ramatirtha, and so it was Kalam's family who arranged the boat, and they made a special platform on which the idols could be kept. And this pond was very close to Dr. Kalam's house, and he grew up listening to the stories of Prophet, that is the life of Prophet, and also the stories from Ramayana. So he never thought that there was any difference between Hindus and Muslims, as even they participated in the Hindu festivals wholeheartedly. And he says now that they listen to stories of both Hindu gods and Muslim prophets. So there was no differentiation on grounds of religion in his life. So I think we can stop here with part 1 of the lesson. We'll continue in the next video. Thank you, children.